Hello, my friends. Welcome to another energy report. This time it's for the week of February 10th to February 16th of 2025. And you know what? I think I might be back in the swing of things with these energy reports. I'm not sure. Don't hold me to it. I cannot make total promises, but I feel like I might be energized enough. My battery may have recharged enough to do these on the regular again, meaning on a weekly basis. But oh my God, this energy lately is so wild. Okay, I pulled some cards, which I will speak into. Basically, being a human is fucking hard. Being a soul is extremely activating at the moment. There's a lot of contrast right now, which is actually indicated by one of the cards. And oh God, I don't even know. It's like, because I haven't done consistent energy reports through the entirety of 2025 so far, I almost don't even know where to start, because it's like, how far back do I go to sort of set the stage for what I feel is happening? And I'm really trying to keep these on the more concise side. I laugh because it will probably not happen. But essentially, okay, we've been in this Mars retrograde, all right? So I'm sure you're all fucking tired of hearing about it, but it's going to continue for another whole week. It's not going to end until February 23rd when Mars stations direct. And then, we're still going to be in the post-retrograde shadow. So I'm sure I'll mention it a time or two again. But basically, Mars started going retrograde proper on December 6th. And it first went retrograde in the sign of Leo. And Mars in Leo is an easier combination. So there was still energy, but it was sort of like our energy was starting to wane, and that was affecting confidence. Then it continued retrograding back into Cancer, and Mars in Cancer is already a weird combination. It's not like, Mars is very watery. It's like a mother and her 2-year-old trying to get somewhere, and the 2-year-old just wants to look at everything and has their own ideas of what needs to be done, and they're just functioning on 2-year-old time. And Mars is like the impatient adult part of ourselves. It's like, oh my God, we need to get the show on the road. So Mars and Cancer is already a weird combination. But then Mars and Cancer retrograde is just like, there's no energy, there's no confidence, there's all kinds of emotions, all kinds of feelings. And in the meantime, there's been a lot of Piscean activation happening. So a lot of Pisces energy. Neptune is in Pisces, Saturn is in Pisces. They've been there for a while, but then also the North Node moved into Pisces earlier in January, and Venus spent quite a lot of time in Pisces. So there was really a lot of Pisces stuff going on. I feel like I'm forgetting one other important Pisces thing, but no, there was a conjunction. That's what I'm thinking of. There was a conjunction between Venus, the North Node, and Neptune, all in Pisces all at the same time. And it was just a lot. It was a lot. So it's like we've had this combination of not having a lot of energy, not having a lot of confidence, not being able to get anywhere, but really, really deep psychic activations. And that energy continues. I really believe, I know, as I said on my last energy report, if you happen to have heard it, because I was so tired, I didn't get it very well advertised and didn't send out an email. But definitely go back and listen to it, even if you missed it, because the nature of these energy reports is such that, yeah, sure, I'm recording it, technically talking about what's going on for the 7-day period that I'm addressing, but these energies are fluid. They don't respond to linear calendrical dates. It's not like everything I'm saying this week is only going to apply for this week. It bleeds into last week. It bleeds into next week. It's all like a fluid continuum of energy evolving and flowing, okay? So you can go back and listen to the other one and it will be completely relevant. In fact, you can go back and listen to any fucking energy report that I have on this podcast, even if it was from 2 years ago, and you're like, how can it possibly be relevant? I guarantee you that if you have a question and there's something you're trying to figure out, and you just randomly select whichever energy report you're the most drawn to, it will hold an oracular message that is guidance specifically for you and your situation. That is the nature of these energy reports. I'm actually thinking of renaming this podcast The Living Oracle, because that's what it is. It's a living oracle where I'm speaking into the nuances of energy as it presents itself to me. So we're having these huge psychic activations, and these psychic activations are set to continue all through the entire year, probably an entire year and a half, to be honest, because of the North Node being in Pisces. And it's like beautiful and uncomfortable all at the same time. Personally, I've been getting such huge downloads lately, huge downloads that are truly life-altering, like complete paradigm shifts for me. And it feels so big that it's uncomfortable to receive and to hold. And I can't really speak into it yet because I'm still processing and integrating it. I always speak into it as soon as I can. But the point is that like these big boluses of psychic information and expansions of our psychic abilities are going to continue for a good amount of time. And so it's like the energy is very beautiful from the sort of the psychic part of ourselves, the true part of ourselves that is finally being given the chance to emerge. That's really beautiful. For the human ego that has been desperately trying to hold it all together, this is a very, very uncomfortable time. So I'm going to get into the cards that I pulled. I went ahead and pulled 3 tarot cards, and then I pulled 3 oracle cards, because the tarot cards are kind of like, the tarot's given us some tough medicine this week. It's important medicine. None of it is terrible. Like there's no calamity or doom being foretold here, but it is speaking into the hard human energies. So then I pulled 3 oracle cards because I was like, I need to balance this out. And the oracle cards have beautiful energies that they're speaking into. So the first tarot card that I pulled is the 8 of Swords, which is talking about the illusion, the nightmare of the illusion. And the character in the 8 of Swords doesn't yet realize that the illusion exists within them, that this is all coming from self. This character on the card, on the art of this card deck, is veiled. On the traditional Smith Rider Waite deck, the 8 of Swords character has a blindfold. In this card, which is the Moonchild Tarot by Danielle Noel, the character is covered with a veil, and she's, kind of encased by these swords, and there's the symbolic message and the energy of the 8 of Swords is where you are your own veil. Like you are the one who has yourself blindfolded. You are the one who is perpetuating your own discomfort because you're trapped in the illusion. I think this is speaking to the human ego and how we really need to be tender and give grace to our human ego right now and give it love. The ego is the part of us that has been so deeply submerged in this experience of being an individual human that it has forgotten that it is part of the continuum. The ego is the one that drives us when we are unconscious of our whole self. And the ego drives us to survive, to gain, sometimes at all costs, sometimes without scruples. The ego is it's the part of us that has received the message that we have to look after number one, or look out for number one, because nobody else is going to do it. And so the ego feels fear. The ego feels separate. And that's what it has been like to be a human for so long here in this realm. Then the 3 of Swords is the next card, which is a heart being pierced by 3 swords. But my favorite part about this card is that the heart is radiating light without it being like expressly religious. It is hearkening to the imagery, the Catholic iconography or the Christian iconography of the Sacred Heart, which is something that I believe is like a deep, it's a deep clue, an indication to a mystery that if we can understand this, then we are set free. And the clue is that the heart, the illuminated heart, is the path. It is the portal out of the illusion. And that the ego is trying so hard to defend the heart, to defend the self against being hurt, being bullied, being used, abused, like, dragged through the coals, so to speak. That the ego is what encases the heart. It wants to prevent it from being broken and hurt. But as we see on this card, the swords piercing the heart only unleash more light. The light is in the heart. Oh, I feel like this is not coming out of my mouth properly. The heart is an actual portal. I'm not saying it is a metaphorical portal. I'm saying it is an actual portal. The heart is a portal to the divine. The heart is a portal out beyond the firmament, out beyond the false matrix frequency net, out of the sort of like prison planet experience of suffering that we have here. The heart is the way out. When you completely meld with heart consciousness and you shift into the frequency of love, it dissolves the illusion and you're able to pass out of the 8 of Swords situation. You're able to pass through the firmament and out of here. And yet we want to defend the heart. We're so afraid of having our heart broken, as though that's going to diminish us, but it doesn't diminish us at all. Every heartbreak only enhances us if we choose it. But this is a realm of trickery and illusion. It's a realm of smoke and mirrors. And so when we believe that heartbreak diminishes us, then it becomes so. But only because we are the orchestrators of our own imprisonment. We are the ones who render the code of this simulation into a material experience that we call reality. And that's often a hard concept to really grasp, because it implies that every shitty thing that's ever happened to us is something that we have created. And on a certain level, yes, that's true, but this is not, it's not something I'm saying to like gaslight the part of us that has actually experienced victimization. It's not to imply that like every terrible thing that has happened to you, you have, like drafted and architected and built yourself. It's more an acknowledgement that you have been blessed with the power of the I am consciousness of God. It is the spark of God that is a holy gift for human beings. It is the coveted thing, the coveted superpower that we have. Humans are so imperfect. We are so fallible. It's so easy for us to see ourselves through the eyes of shame, and yet we are so beloved by Source that we have been gifted, whether intentionally or through happenstance. It depends on what your beliefs are, but we have been gifted with the creative spark of the I am presence, which means that whatever you declare with all of your belief to be true automatically becomes true. So if you declare with your belief that you are diminished by the experience of heartbreak that you have endured, then it becomes true. But if you were to declare with all of your belief that your heart, every time your heart has been pierced, it has only served to release and unleash more of the light you carry within, then it becomes true. And in a sense, that can feel like a giant cosmic joke, like none of it is true, nothing is true. And so if it's not true, then we're just fooling ourselves, but that's not it at all. It's just simply that we have free will. We are the ones who decide. We, with that creator spark, the I am presence, we decide, you decide what you are. You decide what I am. And you declare it with your belief, and it becomes so, because that is the power that you have been gifted with. And that is true of every single one of us, regardless of our circumstances or our IQ or like anything about us. We have all, if you are human, you have that ability. It is a marvelous ability. And so we are still navigating and negotiating this like persistent attempt by the ego to protect ourselves from pain and to protect ourselves from the experiences of life. But that attempt to protect ourselves is what keeps us stuck here. When really, if we can shift into understanding that these things are I want to say that they are an illusion, but it gets so tricky. It starts to sound so lofty and like just such like lofty spiritual, ideas that don't really mean anything to the actual human that's living through them. They are real insofar as what you live through is real. They are illusions insofar as it is not the ultimate truth. It is not the only thing that is real. And so the things that we live through that are painful, or the things that we try and protect ourselves from that we fear would be painful, those things, the perception that they are painful is just the first layer of perception. And if we allow ourselves to pass through that gate of pain with the knowing and the trust and the belief and the declaration from that belief that we are greater, that we are eternal, that it enhances us, then we pass beyond the initiatory gateway of pain and we pass into all of the enhancement that is on the other side. It's sort of like having to walk through the flames. And then you get to the other side and you realize that the flames didn't burn you, that you're okay and you're alive. But before you pass through the flames, it's terrifying. And so you hold yourself back and you hold yourself as a smaller version of all that you could be, all that you actually are inside, because you're afraid of the flames. When if you would just walk through the flames, you would allow yourself to be alchemized and transformed, and you would come through on the other side with the realization that there was never actually anything to fear, and that discomfort is okay. Pain is okay, is what I'm saying. Heartbreak is okay. So then the next tarot card that I pulled is the Five of Cups, which is talking about grief from the past and allowing ourselves to feel the grief of things that we've been through before, that we can't just, air quotes, spiritually bypass the reality of the pain that we have previously experienced, and just we can't skip to the part where we tell ourselves that this enhances us while we abandon the part of ourselves that is hurt to feel that all alone. Hopefully the way I'm explaining it makes sense. Like, for example, if your parents told you they were getting a divorce and completely shattered your reality when you were 8 years old, and your heart broke, and that heartbreak has been holding you back this whole entire time in various ways, like known and unknown to you, you can't just skip ahead to like, oh, it actually enhances me because Amy said so on an energy report, and it's spiritually, it makes sense. So, I'm just going to skip right into the good part. When you do that, what happens is you abandon the 8-year-old version of you. You leave him or her behind in that pain all alone. And so you don't really move on from it because a part of you is still there, waiting to be acknowledged and witnessed and validated that fucking hurt so badly, that was so painful that it completely altered who you are. It's like we're being invited through these tarot cards to, like, in this last little bit of the Mars retrograde, allow ourselves to be guided through the last pass of whatever healing has to happen. And that means allowing ourselves to grieve and feel all the feels and not abandon the part of ourselves that lived through it and the part of ourselves that is still stuck in it, not abandon that part of ourselves there. I mean, we can't anyway. Like, we can't actually transcend the illusion unless all parts of ourselves are being brought along. So essentially the message from the cards is like, the human has been through a lot. The human you that you are in this lifetime and the human you that you have been in other lifetimes has been through a lot. And there is hurt and there is pain. But that pain is only the first layer. And we typically get scared off by that first layer, and we get scared back into the illusion, back into feeling small, back into feeling separate, back into feeling abandoned, back into feeling like we got to look out for number one because we can't rely on anybody else to do it. And right now, the invitation is to guide yourself through that firewall and onto the other side where you are the alchemized version of yourself. And that means feeling the feelings and allowing yourself to be bigger than your fear and more than your pain. Then moving on to the oracle cards, the soul, on the other hand, is having a fucking heyday right now. So I pulled an oracle card from the Starseed Oracle by Rebecca Campbell, and that card is called Soul Gifts and Training. It's time to step up. And like this, oh God, when I pulled this card, I was like, ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Holy shit, my friends. I don't know if you are feeling it, but I know a lot of you are because I'm in conversation with you. But we are really, really, really being called to transcend that pain of being a human and the like sort of anxieties and existential fears of the human ego that has been deep in the Maya, deep in the illusion. We're being called to transcend that shit and remember how huge we are, how continuous the thread of our soul journey is, our soul consciousness is, and to remember sort of the archetypal consciousness that is calling to us. So the oracle, the sage, the priestess, the priest, the wizard, the healer, the mystic, the spiritual warrior, the timeline architect, the creator. You know, there's so many archetypes, so endless number of archetypes, but those parts of ourselves are calling us forward and saying like, hello, remember? Kind of like if we're going to use more kind of New Age and Abraham Hicks language, which can be really helpful. It's like our higher self is saying, you are infinitely more than the tiny little part of yourself that you think you are and the tiny little part of yourself that you've allowed yourself to be in this life. You have been here for eons, thousands of years. Like, it can't even be summarized in a number, because the part of ourselves that is calling us forward exists beyond, quantification. It's like your starseed aspects are calling you forward. Your archetypal aspects are calling you forward. The parts of you that have existed in ancient civilizations, that have been the parts of you that have been doing this for so damn long, and that you've acquired so much wisdom, and you have honed so many gifts, and you have so fucking much to bring to the table, so much to contribute to the evolution of human consciousness and consciousness in general. So much. You have to transcend the small human part of you without leaving that part behind, without abandoning that part of yourself to suffer. You go find it and soothe it and bring it forward into the hugeness that you are. Then it's followed by a card that I pulled from Janine Burgess's beautiful Mandala Oracle deck. And that card is contrast. So again, it's just speaking to what the human ego is experiencing right now versus what the soul is calling us toward. The soul is like, God damn it, remember me for real. Remember me. Remember what I've been through. Remember my lifetimes. Remember my wisdom. Remember my gifts. Remember my origins. Remember why I'm here. Remember my purpose. Remember what I'm part of. That is the part that's calling us. But there's so much contrast. There's the humanness and the soulness, and they almost seem at odds right now. But I really believe that the reason the human part feels uncomfortable and painful is because it's on the precipice, the verge of being alchemized and healed. And then the final oracle card that I pulled is from Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Light Oracle deck. And that is Birthing a New Age, which is a card that in 2024 I pulled quite frequently for these energy reports. So it says, birthing new creations, dreaming a new world into being. And I can't possibly stress this enough. It is go time. It's on. There is no reason to continue playing small. There is no reason to continue existing in victim consciousness. There is no reason to continue abiding by programs and limitations that aren't actually true but are merely options. We are the ones who choose and render the new timeline. The timelines have always been up to us. We are the deciders. What reality becomes manifest here. We are truly birthing a new age. I know so many of you can feel it. I put a poll out on my Instagram stories yesterday, and I think it was 97% of people said, yes, they can feel this big, big shift in the energies. It's like, it just feels like there's this condensing of energy and it's about to pop. And so many of you are feeling it too. Plus, I've been getting so many emails and messages from people just sharing with me their own reflections of what they are feeling and the messages they are getting. And it's like, it's very confirming that 2025 is a really big year. It's a really big deal. When I say it's go time, I fucking mean it, my friends. I mean it. I mean, like, feel like I've said this so many times that I'm afraid that it's losing its power and its potency, but I don't know how else to say it. You didn't come here to be a broken muggle in the fucking Matrix. Do you understand me? Do you hear what I'm saying? You didn't come here for this shit. There was a phase of your mission as this person that you are this time where you had to be a broken muggle in the Matrix, because that was what was required in that phase of the plan. Like, for us to feel all of the existential human ego, anxiety, and dread, and to believe that we are small. It's like we had to identify with all of that so that we could grab hold of it and transmute it through the portal of our consciousness, through the portal of our heart. But you didn't come here to spend an entire lifetime as a broken muggle in the Matrix. Not if you're listening to me. I don't believe anybody did, but I do believe that there are people who are, almost like they're just so asleep in it that I'm not really talking to them. Not that the messages wouldn't apply to them if they woke up, but given that they're not awake right now, it's just like, don't worry about it. It's not like there's other things that have to happen first before these messages are for you. But for all of you who are listening to me right now, whenever you're listening to this, even if it's like 2027 and you're listening to this, you are here for a reason. You are here to be part of this. There are way bigger things for you to step up into. You are an important player in this game. You are an important part of this collective mission. No single one of us is like the chosen one that's going to do it all. This is a group effort. We're doing it together. It's go time. It's on. So you have to move through all of the initiation gates of your own discomfort and choose to be a bigger player in this game. Choose to be the greater soul that you are, the greater soul consciousness that you are, the part of you that incarnated intentionally into this time, into the avatar that you chose, specifically and intentionally for a reason. Everybody has variations of the same reason and the same mission, but collectively, like broad brushstrokes, the mission is to evolve human consciousness. Like, we're here to group together and get human consciousness over sort of the break wall that has held it back for a long time. And that means going through the portal of your fucking heart and healing your shit. And not just healing your shit, because I know a lot of you have been on a healing journey for a really long time. Not just healing your shit, but then on the other side, letting your soul reach through and pull you forward. Like, just on a personal level, some of the transmissions that I've been getting over the last few days are such huge pieces of understanding of who I really am. Like, who I really am at a soul level and how long I've been here for, and the different, I don't really know how to put it, because as you can hear, I'm still integrating it, but like the things I'm remembering are big. They're really big, really significant, and it takes a lot of conscious, intentional choosing for me to accept this about myself. And there is a part of my ego that wants to reject it because it feels hard to hold. But I know that if I get to the end of this lifetime, whenever that may be, and it's over, and this body is dead, and the chance to be Amy is done, I know that I am going to deeply regret all of the times and all of the ways that I did not choose my bigness. I did not choose the magnitude of my impact and my importance. And when I say that, it is not to imply that the magnitude of my impact is greater than others, or that my importance is greater than anyone else's. It's not. It's not about those kind of hierarchies. It's merely the acknowledgement that I fucking matter. That I make a difference, a huge difference, so much bigger even than the game that I've been playing so far. I make a huge difference. And it is uncomfortable to accept that about myself. It requires that I heal a bunch of my shit. But it's what I have to do. Because when I die and this chance is over, I am going to regret all of the ways where I shrank back and played small because the illusion got the better of me. Okay, I feel like I finally landed the point of this energy report with that. You will regret at the end of this life, when this chance is over and your body dies and you can't be this person anymore, you will suddenly be able to see all of the things that this person was intentionally set up to be able to do. All the magnitude, the impact that this person that you currently are was intentionally set up to have. The importance and the relevance of this person that you are in this lifetime, you will suddenly be able to see it all with like unlimited 360-degree vision and crystal clarity. And you will see all the places that you chose to shrink back and play small because the illusion has gotten the better of you. And you will regret it. This is true for all of us. I know we're here for a reason, and it's game on. Okay, there's a little bit of light language that wants to come through. Ke tara hora itro ifuno aya ikuro se ita inoroke itatro afi italwintera ki a ishono era ihayati ara oratuna ia ki o ishituro seiro ka ishono ayati osio e a kuno atro afi italwinto ikoro cherake. Okay, my beautiful friends, I hope that this energy report landed exactly the way that it needed to. Lights a divine fire in your heart that will just continue to set it ablaze. If this speaks to you, if you know that it's time for you to answer this calling, I invite you to join either my Akashic Keys Mystery School, where we're going so deep into all of the highest level transmissions that I am receiving. There's also a pre-existing vault of transmissions that I've brought through, and these transmissions have not been received by very many people. It's been a small group of initiates that have self-selected to hear them. This is very new and very cutting edge information, and there are even more transmissions that are just pouring through me all the time right now. These transmissions are Akashic keys to activate, to unlock your remembering and activate your gifts and your abilities and your alignment with your soul mission, your archetypes, your ascended avatar consciousness, all of the levels of yourself. So I invite you to join the Akashic Keys Mystery School. If this resonates, if you have any questions about it, just email me or send me a DM on Instagram and we'll have a chat. Otherwise, for the month of February, I am celebrating the Akashic Records by putting my Akashic Records program at 50% off. So this is Into the Akasha. It's a self-paced, self-study program for you to dive into and move through at your own pace, but it is extremely activating, extremely activating. It is beginner friendly, but damn, does it dive deep. So it is currently 50% off. There is no better time to jump into your Akashic Records than right now. And if you know that you want to learn how to read the Akashic Records, you want to provide readings, healings, you want to become a channel, an oracle, like you just know that these are the things that are calling you on a professional level as a service to others, Then my Akashic Records training and certification is also 40% off on pre-sale right now. The new round begins in April, but you get instant access to all of the trainings that are already in there as well. So there are lots of ways for you to answer the calling of your soul at this time, because it is time. Okay, my friends, I love you so much. I hope you have an amazing week. As always, feel free to let me know how this lands with you and what you're feeling and experiencing in your part of this whole cosmic dance that is unfolding. And otherwise, I will catch you on the next energy report.